it just reminded me that you can't focus on the noise of the outside world. And unfortunately, a lot of people do. A lot of people focus on the noise, and a lot of people enter the dark space of the noise to benefit them. And when you are a person who lives your life,
It wasn't about what she said, it was about what she didn't do. No reaction, no smile, no effort to play along, just complete silence. And somehow, that silence spoke louder than any words ever could. Now, this is where things start to get even more interesting. Carlos King, who clearly understands how to keep attention on himself and his shows, has been subtly dropping hints and making comments, slowly building anticipation once again. Fans became convinced that Melody might finally consider returning to Love and Marriage Huntsville. After all, time had passed. People heal, situations change, and reality TV has a way of pulling people back into the spotlight. But what no one saw coming was Melody completely shutting that possibility down, not just quietly stepping away, but firmly closing the door, locking it, and making it clear she has no intention of going back. As soon as fans realized what was happening, social media lit up. Reactions came from every direction. Some people were shocked, others respected her decision, and many were left confused, questioning why she would walk away from something that helped make her so well known. So, what really went down here? Why did Melody completely ignore Carlos's efforts instead of even acknowledging them? And what does this mean for her future and the future of the show? Because this situation isn't as simple as it seems. Once you understand everything behind it, you might start to look at Melody's decision in a whole new way.
there's going to be people who's going to poke you to get a reaction out of you. They're going to make up lies. They're going to just say things to get people to join them in their hatred for you. And you just have to pray for them. And as you pray for them, pray for God to fulfill them with something that they're missing. Because you have to be missing something. You have to have a hole in your heart to spend your time going against people who did nothing to you.
To really understand why this moment matters, you have to go back to the beginning. Before the headlines, before the business success, before the independence, there was a woman trying to balance love, family, and ambition while the world watched her every move. Melody wasn't always this guarded. In the beginning, she came across as someone who truly believed in building something meaningful, a strong marriage, a growing business, and a stable life, not just for herself, but for her children too. When Love and Marriage Huntsville first started, it wasn't just about drama. It highlighted success, entrepreneurship, and relationships that felt genuine. But as time went on, reality TV began to shift things. What started as a positive platform slowly turned into pressure. Every disagreement became a storyline, every argument turned into entertainment, and little by little the line between real life and reality TV started to disappear. For Melody, that change wasn't just uncomfortable, it was deeply personal. While viewers were watching for entertainment, she was actually living through painful moments in real time. Her marriage breaking down wasn't just something for TV, it was her real life. The betrayal, the public criticism, and constant conversations about her personal struggles didn't stay on screen. It followed her everywhere. And no matter how strong she tried to be, the emotional weight of it all became visible. But one thing about Melody is that she didn't break under pressure. She adjusted. Instead of letting the situation define her, she began creating something bigger for herself. She stepped into her own identity, separate from the show, separate from the drama, and even separate from the people who once shaped her story. She focused on her businesses, her children, and finding her voice outside of reality TV. Over time, she began to grow beyond the very platform that introduced her to the public. That's where the tension started. While Melody was evolving, the show remained the same. Drama continued to drive the storylines, conflict remained the focus, and the same patterns kept repeating. Arguments, betrayals, temporary resolutions, and then back to the same cycle again. For Melody, going back wouldn't just mean returning to television. It would mean stepping back into a version of herself she had already left behind, and that's something she clearly wasn't willing to do. Recently, things picked up again when Carlos King began making subtle moves. Through interviews and social media, he started hinting at growth, change, and the possibility of people returning if the timing felt right. He didn't mention names directly, but he didn't have to. Fans immediately started connecting the dots. Was he talking about Melody? Could she be coming back? Was a reunion on the way? The speculation spread quickly, and for a moment it felt like something big was about to happen. But then nothing followed. No confirmation, no excitement, no sign from Melody that she was even considering it. And then came the moment that changed everything. When she was directly asked about returning, her response wasn't dramatic or emotional. It wasn't messy or attention-seeking. It was simple and clear. She refused. No hesitation, no maybe in the future, just a calm and firm decision. She's not going back. That's when people started to realize this wasn't uncertainty, it was intentional. But what made things even more interesting is that Carlos didn't stop. He continued speaking positively, leaving the door open publicly as if a return was still possible. To some, it seemed hopeful. To others, it looked strategic. Because the truth is, Melody's name still carries influence. Whether she's on the show or not, people still talk about her. They compare current storylines to her presence. She didn't just appear on the show, she became one of its strongest figures. So naturally, the idea of her returning would create buzz, attract attention, and bring renewed interest. And Carlos understands that. What he may not have expected, though, was Melody completely refusing to engage. No teasing, no back and forth, no playing into the narrative, just distance. And that silence shifted the power dynamic. Suddenly, it wasn't about whether the show wanted her back. It became clear that she didn't need the show anymore. Fans have had mixed reactions. Some are fully supporting her decision. They see it as growth, as strength, as a woman choosing peace over chaos. They believe she has outgrown that environment and has no reason to return to something that brought her pain. And honestly, that perspective makes sense. But there's another side, too. Some fans miss what she brought to the show. They feel like something is missing without her presence. They question whether the show still holds the same value without her, and wonder if it can continue the same way. Then there are those who remain doubtful. They believe this decision might not be permanent. They think that with the right timing, the right offer, or the right situation, she could return. After all, reality TV has a history of bringing people back when least expected. But what makes this situation different is that Melody doesn't seem tempted at all. That's what surprises people the most. Usually, when someone steps away, there's still a connection, a feeling that they might come back at some point. But Melody appears to have truly moved on, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally as well. And that's difficult for people to accept because they're used to seeing her in that space. What stands out the most is how firm she has been. No drama, no negativity, just clear boundaries. And that's something you don't often see in reality TV. Looking deeper, her decision isn't just about leaving the show. It's about control. For a long time, her story was shaped by production, editing, and narratives that didn't always fully represent her truth. While that comes with reality TV, it also comes with a personal cost. Now, she has full control over her own life. What she shares, what she builds, and what she walks away from is completely up to her. Giving that up, even temporarily, may not be worth it anymore, especially when peace is something she had to fight hard to achieve. On a more emotional level, this situation goes beyond headlines and speculation. It reflects a real experience: public heartbreak, public judgment, and the pressure to stay in situations that no longer serve you. Walking away from that takes strength, but staying away takes even more strength because it means choosing yourself every single day, even when people expect something different, even when opportunities come back around, even when others are watching and waiting. Melody has made it clear that she is choosing herself. Her peace, her growth, and her future matter more than returning to the past. And that's what makes this moment powerful. It's not loud or dramatic, it's quiet, intentional, and firm. But one question still remains. Is this truly the end, or just another chapter in her journey? Because one thing is certain, nothing stays the same forever. People evolve, situations shift, and decisions can change over time. But for now, Melody has made her choice, and whether people agree or not, one thing is clear. She is no longer waiting for anyone's approval to live life on her own terms. And maybe that's the real story here.